The Awake Shop by Rev Skip. Inspiration you can wear. Visit the Awake Shop and help change the planet. 10% of all proceeds will be donated to organizations that make a difference. Go to awakeshop.org today.
You're in the flow with Rev Skip and Chad Bradford.
Faith, love, openness, and willingness. You're in the flow.
Subscribe, like, and share. Spread the love.
You're in the flow on the New Thought Media Network. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of In the Flow right here on the New Thought Media Network. And I want to bring my brother, my co-host in. Chad, where are you, my brother? You're supposed to be up in here with me. Are you out a little bit there? What's happening? Are you dark? Yes, you are. Well, you can speak. I think we can still hear your audio. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, want to welcome you into this space. I am Rev Skip, and my partner, Chad Bradford, is trying to come in with the audio. We are home doing what we do. We broadcast, but we are here on the New Thought Media Network. So if you're listening to this for the very first time, either as a podcast or you online with us here at Facebook Live, we invite you to share, like, love, and absolutely subscribe to what we do here so we can share the love. And I'm so grateful for being here. And Chad, I want to bring you in. Can we do that? Can we get you in?
Let's do it.
There you go. Okay. That's like a heart attack.
Time, Skip.
I know. No, wait. That is a heart attack. Right where we go live, you drop out of the feed. I'm going, hold up. So when we have all these different plans, how it's going to work, brother, we got to be in the flow. We better be in the flow.
So true. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, the flow, the energetic, the electronic, the Wi-Fi flow, it all syncs up. It all syncs up.
It does eventually. How you doing, man? What's going on with you this week?
Lord, it's such as we were talking before we got on here, and it's just such a new world, a new journey with becoming a new parent. So just it's just wild learning and looking back and seeing how your parents have done things and how you came up, and then kind of comparing it, and you're just always kind of doing it and then reflecting upon it, and you're just climbing this new wall, this new mountain, and just learning all these new things. Just like any life challenge, I was listening to some Gabrielle Bernstein this week, and I love her. Yes. And I was listening to The Universe Has Your Back. She would be a great person to have on. But she talks about your universal lesson. And, just as Rev Michael has talked about, when those challenges show up, that's an opportunity to grow into somebody, to grow into the answer.
Yes.
That it's already within you. The answer's already within you. And it's just about growing into that person, that this is no longer a challenge.
Yeah. So you growing? Is that what you're saying, brother? You growing?
I listen. I am growing. The pains, the spiritual stretch marks are forming.
I love it. I love that. Oh my goodness! So congratulations again, my brother. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's been. I think last week you were out. So we had Karen Drucker on the show, and she was just phenomenal. She's just absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to send a shout out to Karen Drucker again for having a great conversation. My mother was actually online, because now that she has Wi-Fi in her house, she can get YouTube, and we go out on the YouTube channel of my mother. So, and she's going to listen to this show here. So big shout out to Rebecca Jennings. I love me some mama, Rebecca Jennings. And I'm going home on the 25th. I'm going home on the 25th to see my mother.
Really? Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I can't be going to the East Coast, my brother, and not make a stop to New Jersey first, Hey, because it is our busy time of the season when, ministers, and as our guest, we'll talk to our guest who's coming up as well. We know when we start in November and we go into gratitude, and then we go into Christmas and the New Year, I'm already scheduled to be teaching at CSL Fort Lauderdale. So I am already scheduled on New Year's Day. I'm doing a meditation and yoga retreat on New Year's Day, and Dr. Chris said, would you be interested in doing that on Christmas on New Year's Day? I said, absolutely. My mentor and teacher, Reverend Michael, he does this every New Year's. He always does a New Year's retreat. So I'm just honored to be asked to do a meditation and a yoga retreat. I'm going, yes. That's a big fat yes. So, yeah.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah. So,
it's just wild. If you ever tune in to Insight Timer and get to hear what Skip does, that's one of the ways. That's how brother. I first encountered you. Was nobody can pray you up quite like Skip Jennings. So
wait a minute, that's not true. Our guest, Reverend Jason, he can pray. He's a praying brother. He's a praying brother. But it's so funny because people who can pray. Some people who know about prayer, and then have people who live the prayer. Reverend Jason lives the prayer. He is a praying brother. And it's so funny because people in your life, you go, oh, that's a singing brother, that's a singing sister. Reverend Jason's a singing brother. So, but it's great to be on. I'm glad that you're back, and you might have to hold down the fort while I'm in the transition of the move thing that happens.
Yes.
So I think you're going to be ready to take the reins by yourself. But one of those Fridays at the very end of the month, right before the New Year. But we'll see if I can drop in or not. So are you ready for that, Chad?
Beautiful.
All right.
Yes, so ready.
All right, let's get down with the get down.
And now it's time for our Wellness Wake Up.
All right, y'all. Our Wellness Wake Up for today is something that comes out of a quote out of my book, the little book for big transformation. And this quote is this, and this Wellness Wake Up moment is about finding your joy in every workout. The reason why I bring this up is because we have a tendency to move into our fitness with this begrudging type kind of energy, this kind of like, oh, I got to do this, or I have to go for my walk. I got to do this. If you don't love what you're doing, then find a new modality to get your body going. Because if we don't, we're not going to stick with it. It's one of those things where you have to do the research. Is it going to be yoga, or is it going to be going for a walk, or is it going for a jog? Not everyone should be doing the same exact thing, but the body temple requires the physical practice. And we invite you to find your joy. And when you approach your workout with joy, the energy, the vibration, the frequency is absolutely powerful. Chad, I'm going to bring you into the feed here. There we go.
Yeah. For a long time, working out, getting bigger, getting stronger, especially as an actor, that was just the MO. I grew up, I was a skinnier guy for a long time in my early adulthood. And, you feel like you have to come up to this image as an actor, that you have to live up, you have to become, Batman, or you have to learn how you can get into one of those superhero movies. But really, at the end of the day, when I started to release that, my workouts got a lot more joyful, because it's really not about how if your tricep horseshoe is coming in or all that kind of thing. It's really about how you feel, and whatever you can do to make that workout joyful. I'll tell you, for being on this podcast is so cool, because for so long going to work out was also working out my mind. I would be listening to all kinds of podcasts, audiobooks, and I would leave the gym feeling even lighter, feeling even stronger in a spiritual sense, because I'm in there working out my body and my mind simultaneously. And yeah, so I love that, Skip, and I love your book too, because, and if folks haven't gotten it yet, it's a great tool for every morning. It's just enough to get you on the right path. So I love that you're including things from that here in the Wellness Wake Up.
Thank you so much. Chad, what's your go-to workouts these days? What are you doing?
Well, lifting that baby, I'm doing baby curls at the moment. I'm going to be honest.
I love that. That's joy. Lifting the baby is joy.
Big time. And I tell you right now, I'm actually directing a production of Macbeth. And so a lot of my workout comes in rehearsal. We're doing a lot of stage combat right now. And so getting low, working with swords, tumbling on the ground, all of that kind of thing. That's such a great workout for the body, doing any kind of thing like that. Yeah. Congratulations.
I think next week we're going to maybe have a little segment on Macbeth and what you're doing, because that's coming up real soon. We'll work on that, get that going. All right, guys. It's time for the Quotable Ponder.
Wonderful. Our Quotable Ponder for today comes from the prolific and wonderful Maya Angelou. She says, "We need joy as we need air. We need love as we need water. We need each other as we need the earth we share." I love that we're using Maya Angelou as somebody from Arkansas. Maya Angelou was actually born in Stamps, Arkansas, and she is probably one of the biggest names that's come out of the state. But really, what she's talking about here to me is something that Thich Nhat Hanh talks about in a lot of his work, is of interdependence. You know, we need each other, whether we like to acknowledge it or whether we know it or not. Every piece of food you eat has been watered by the rain. There's the sunshine in it. There's the person who grew it. There's the person who put it on the truck. There's the people that put it into the grocery store. And it's really easy to forget when we're living our fast lives that we really are part of this large circle, this spiral, that all the elements of the earth and all the elements of our lives come together to make that moment what it is. And I love Maya Angelou's work. It's really funny. My father grew up not too far from where she was born and where she spent the early part of her life. And it just goes to show like the deep, deep resonance that art can have. You know, he had a very different experience growing up than she did, but he would read her books. I remember Why the Caged Bird Sings, and he would just be weeping and weeping. And even though she's an African-American woman, he was a white guy growing up in the South, he could relate to the pains. He could relate to many of the stories and hardships in his own way. And it just shows how that resonance of art can really get into our molecules, into our atoms, and that stories really are the way that we make sense of the world. And so, love that quote. Love Maya Angelou. So thankful that we're getting to bring her into our consciousness today.
Really speaks to, if you think about the things that we say we need, if we think about air, we think about water, we think about all the things we say we need, those divine qualities that we are, we need to remember that we are these divine qualities. So like love and joy, those things that we are, that's within us, we have to remember that this is who we are. So this reminder, I believe, for me, speaks to, if I can remember that I am love, I am joy, I am these qualities, it's going to surpass any of my human experiences that I'm having. And there are many human experiences in the middle of a move. That is a very big triggering time for me. And I'm going through stuff that I haven't seen in years. I have a whole storage unit that for the last 2 years, I've been here with my best friend, Bill, and my stuff has been in storage. So now tomorrow we're going over the storage and pulling out this antique um, the couch that I don't need, but I need to remember I'm loved. I'm getting rid of some of these old pictures that I don't want, but I need to remember I'm joy. So what I
Yes.
think I need, I don't really need. But what I
Mm,
am, I need to remember that that is who I am. So I love that quote
yes.
too, and it's a good one. So, brother, we have a dynamic guest that's coming into the mix with us.
Yes.
You know, it's just my boy, it's just my friend, my colleague. Let me tell you a little bit about Jason Mitchell, y'all. So, Reverend Jason Mitchell is an assistant minister at the Agape International Spiritual Center, where he manages Agape prayer ministry and supports the Practitioner Core. I am a practitioner first, and then I'm a minister. All right.
Mm.
He also serves as the director of the Agape Sacred Service Ministry. For more than 9 years, oh, this brother is so deep. For more than 9 years, Reverend Jason has facilitated our daily prayer call, a morning devotional call where people from around the world, I'm saying literally around the world, gather in prayer, affirming the truth. Whether he is serving in the community with our youth or facilitating workshops or providing spiritual counseling, advising business leaders, or simply being a student of truth, Reverend Jason is constantly leading through service. I love that about him. He is ultimately his utmost desire is that all of humanity awaken to the truth of our divinity and master awakening this journey as love incarnated. I love that. Let me tell you, this brother is so deep and so amazing, and I love him. So I just need to bring him into the feed to say hello, Reverend Jason.
Hello, Reverend Skip. I
Welcome.
wrote a nice long bio for you to.
I know for me to stumble over. You for me to stumble over. I'm gonna tell myself. We have pulpit rotation. And I'm like, brother, you give me that reading as soon as I can so I can be with it because of just how it is. And, but I just want to say, believe it or not, I believe that you're one of the hardest working brothers I know in ministry. And I'm just so grateful to call you friend and brother. So welcome to In the Flow here on the New Thought Media Network.
I'm grateful to be here with you and Chad. It is, it's a gift to be able to do what we do.
Yeah.
I was thinking a lot this week about the journey of life that I've lived and how much Agape has completely transformed. I've been at Agape since 2005. And the classes I started taking around 2006, 2007, and I've been a student ever since I got to the community. The biggest thing that I will always say is that Agape gave me back to myself. There is a whole system of things, of corporations, of businesses, of influencers now is such a catchphrase that are seeking to get our attention, seeking to use our energy, seeking to use our life force, seeking to use our resources.
Yes.
And Agape pulled me out of any of the limited ideas that I was experiencing at the time. It pulled me out of the limited experiences that I was having at the time. And it showed me a God, a presence, a force that was bigger than just the 3-letter words God. It was bigger than what humanity had encapsulated it into and said, no, it can't be that, or it can't be this. Really awakening to God as all has transformed all that I've been through.
And you and I love what you're talking about, because I had the same experience, and I expressed that last week when I was on stage with Reverend Michael. I found out I didn't know what I was saying yes to 15 years ago when I got there, but I know now. And one of the things that I equate one of the greatest experiences that you and I share is that we graduated from the Michael B. Beckwith School of Ministry during a pandemic, yo. We had our graduation with masks on, we had our white robes, our graduation hats on, and we had our agape masks. We were sharp in the middle of a pandemic at our brother Carlton's house. It was at Reverend Carlton's house. It was absolutely amazing experience. I will never forget.
Yeah. And I was really clear. Think about the journey that we went on, a program that was being revamped, rebirthed. that was going to be 3 years, that ended up being 4.5 years, that
Yes.
moved through the transition of Agape from its physical location that it had been in for 20 years,
That's right.
then moving and advancing for online broadcast. And we were prepared because of that to be able to handle the pandemic stay-at-home orders, because Agape had been becoming masterful at providing services and classes and the like over Zoom technology and platforms like StreamYard. So it's been really powerful to witness all of that.
Yeah. Chad, are you frozen again? Did we get you frozen? Okay, come on in, Chad. Have a conversation with us, my brother.
Yes. Yes. You know, that fractured internet always kind of jars us back into the present moment for sure. You get that little sweat running down your forehead.
Right.
But, you know, Rev Jason, I've loved getting on Instagram and seeing our daily prayer call. And I just wonder if you can talk to us about how that started and how that came to be.
Yeah. In 2012, I graduated from the Practitioner Studies program at what then was called the UTSLA, University of Transformational Leadership Studies at Agape. It was what Agape University was. And when I graduated and completed my initiation, I knew there was something for me to do. I knew there was something additional to whatever it was that I might be doing with Agape, that there was something for me that was seeking to be done through me. So at the time, this is, before Facebook is what it is today when it comes to video streaming. It's before YouTube is doing live streaming. It's before all of that. And I said, well, as Skip and I were talking about earlier, and you were hinting at around prayer, is the one thing that I know that I'm consistently called to do is pray.
Yes.
And one thing that I know people consistently need in their life is prayer. And so one day Spirit was like, you could set up, I got the idea, a prayer call in the morning. And it would be a space where people could come in and feel into the field of prayer. So I began on October 1st, 2012, 7 a.m. on a group conference line. I had promoted it on social media and Facebook and let people know about it, definitely before I was on Instagram, and it began. And just the beginning of this past month, October 1st, is 9 years that we've been doing ODPC, and it has evolved incredibly. It's on Instagram now. We do Facebook Live now. And even over this past year, it has evolved a lot, because it used to be just an inspirational reading. And then with the inspirational reading, it would be prayer. I get prayer requests from folks. They send them in. But lately, it's become a teaching, healing, transformational space where people, and I'm in dialogue with the people who are present, and they're commenting in the chat, and we're doing live banter back and forth, and people are bringing their stuff into the space, and there's a lot of energy that's just been building there.
Yeah.
So
And
it's been really exciting.
And also this year you've asked, I love the really deep questions you're asking. It's like you're asking us to interact on what did you just hear? What questions come up from Ernest Holmes' reading, which I think is so important. And I even have taken bits and pieces of learning from being for our daily prayer call. I do that now on Insight Timer. It is engagement. We keep them engaged, and they start to trust us, and they come back because this is not me just prolificating or me just saying this. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're talking about. But Rev, who are you? I know that's a big question, but man, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I read your bio, but who are you?
I'm one that's continually trying to figure it out.
Oh, right on.
I'm someone who is in constant discovery of myself. If I'm a teacher who constantly says, and I am, that I'm not my body, I have a body, that I'm not my thoughts, I have thoughts. If I'm a teacher who says, and I am, that I'm not my conditions, and I'm not my circumstances. I'm not my place of birth. Thank God I'm not my bank account. If these are things that I say about myself,
Yes.
then I must be something more than that. And I'm the one that observes it all. I'm the one who sees it all. I'm the one who has made terrible mistakes. I'm one who's able to see that I've had terribly difficult lessons for growth and transformation. And I'm also one who's continually dismantling the limited thoughts, the limited perceptions, the lies, the illusions, and continually opening myself up, that which I am, that again, that sees all of these things, that smells all these things, that taste all of these things, that gets to see the light glimmering off the grass in the dewy morning. I get to see that. I'm the person that gets to see the fireworks go off at Dodger Stadium as they beat the Giants last night. I get to see all of that stuff. And so I've become really infatuated more with the use of language and how we apply it. And so I might be called a person, a human, a spiritual being in a human incarnation. And I still know that what I really am is beyond the limitations of the words that we know. So you asked a big question. You got
I love it.
Answer.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I love that. Yeah, it's one of those things. I love what you said. You know, I'm having thoughts, or I'm in a body. It's when we're going through our daily lives, and I feel like when we're in these moments of stress, or we're having to learn these hard lessons, sometimes it's tempting to mistake our experience, our life situation for who we are. It's easy to mistake our bank account for our worth. And I just, I wonder, how did you find your way to these kinds of awakenings and realizations?
And before he answers that, I got to say, yeah, I hope the Dodgers kick Boston's butt. And I know, Sandra just tried to.
Yeah, we get Atlanta first.
Atlanta, but I know it's going to end up being. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Dodgers and Boston. But let me tell you, Reverend Sandra just jumped on and says, "Leave the Giants out of this conversation." She writes this in the feed. Oh, so sad, so bad, so sad, Reverend Sandra.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to break her for that.
I gotta give this. I don't know. Can Sandra hear that? I have some sound effects over here too.
I love it. I need to get some sound effects. We need to get sound effects.
Oh my gosh.
But to take on Chad's question, the immediate thing that comes to mind is I was born into a family of ministers. My grandfather was a bishop in the Apostolic Church. Reverend Skip and I have that charismatic spirituality background in common. And then at one point I was married, and that marriage was coming to an end, and it was deeply painful, but it was also showing me that there was just something about how I was living and how I was living my life at the time that wasn't working. My brother, Kanata, who's a voracious reader, had come up with a book list, and that book list was really something powerful. And he gave me that list. He was like, read these. And I read this list. It's about 15, 16 books that I read in the course of less than a year, maybe. And it cracked me open where I had gotten hard, where I just could not sort of taste or feel the moisture of the soil of the spirit. Whereas in the Bible, where they talk about the fallow ground, it had gotten hard and dense, and there wasn't really anything growing in me. I had pulled away, going through my divorce, leaving my job at the time, and then I was introduced to Agape. Yeah. I went through a process of being pulled away, broken down. My mind, my consciousness was open through reading. We need to be reading.
Hello.
We need to be taking things up. It's not enough to just watch services. It's not just enough. The way reading does something unique to the mind. And I was opened up. And from that point on, once I got to Agape, everything began to change for me. As I said it earlier, Agape gave me back to myself. Reverend Michael, who's my teacher, who's my friend, has never tried to convince me of something about me that did not feel honest, loving, true, expansive, to help me see more about myself. when I look at the students who are engaged in the classes, he's constantly giving people the authority to take on their own lives.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me.
Yeah,
That's
that
beautiful.
is absolutely powerful. I own ownership. One of the things that first thing I learned on my journey of the spiritual expansive space is that I am not a victim. Life is not being done to me, it's being done as me. And that freedom allowed me to do the work that I'm doing, allowed me to be able to make this journey to Fort Lauderdale at the end of the month to become, my first pulpit, which is associate minister at CSL. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And to be able to go, I know my life's purpose. I know why I was created. I know why I'm here. So that word purpose is really packed with a lot of energy. And I know you talk about this on our daily prayer call. What is purpose to you? And if you could give us a little bit insight of your purpose on this planet.
Oh, purpose is something that I wrestle with because it has become in this world something that people beat themselves up with.
Yeah,
it's become something because it seems to have so much weight, and there's so many people that talk about being in their purpose, but very few people who talk about being in their purpose are janitors. Very few people who talk about being in their purpose are mechanics or secretaries. And none of those people are being encouraged to see their purpose in being a secretary and being a janitor and being a stay-at-home mom and being wherever they were. And so we were reading a book called The Call in Practitioner Studies 2 at Agape University. And purpose for me aligns with the call. And I don't believe that anyone is ever outside of their purpose. That your purpose is with you always. That your purpose, if you're sitting still on a bus stop, is to be there. There's no way that we could ever be anywhere other than we are. Now, the consciousness that we hold, our awareness, our ability to be present, our ability to navigate the environment of our own inner consciousness and the outer world is other conversation. But when we're talking about purpose, you're in your purpose. If you're a mechanic, you're in your purpose. If you're raising your children, you're in your purpose. If you're picking up trash because you had a penalty, waged against you because of a bankruptcy, and you're dealing with some criminal issues, you're always in your purpose. Now, where is the consciousness in your purpose?
Yes.
In your consciousness, in your purpose, and you're working as a mechanic. Are you being loving? Are you being generous? Are you being creative? Are you allowing the flow of the living intelligence, the light eternal to flow through you? Are you allowed to be in joy even as a mechanic? Are you in the secretarial pool? Are you a teacher, right, at a juvenile detention center where you're dealing with very difficult individuals who have gone through a very difficult life, but you bring love, you bring joy, you bring peace. You don't allow the limited ideas that the systems are saying about our children and our youth to infect how you nurture them, how you love them, how you guide them, how you teach them. No matter your occupation, economic status, nationality, ability to speak one or more languages, you are in your purpose now. Will you bring consciousness to your purpose? Will you bring consciousness to how you work? Do you have a seamstress business? Are you a designer? Do you bring consciousness like our brother practitioner Joey Galan is an amazing designer, and he brings love and consciousness to his work. Absolutely. So purpose for me is that which I am doing, what I am meant to do, what is only being done in the world as me, plus an equation of my conscious awareness in every moment.
You just nailed it. I have a little sound effect too. Did you hear that? You just nailed it. Listen, this is what I love about you, JC. You just bring the realness to the realness. We get down with the get down, because purpose is never about what you're doing. It's about who you are.
It's an isness. It's an artist.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Earlier this week, Oh, sorry, Skip. I didn't
No,
mean to interrupt you.
I was just about to shout a little bit. I was about to do a holy dance. Hey,
I don't
hey,
have that.
hey, hey,
That's what I
hey,
need. That's the
hey,
sound
hey,
effect that I need. I don't have that in the soundboard.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Skip and you and I were talking even earlier this week, just because with everything that's going on in my life, Skip has given me advice, and I'm working on a lot of projects, and he reminded me of something that I think was Eckhart Tolle talks about. You've got your primary purpose, right? And then the life situation you're in, your secondary purpose. I'm going through the world. Yes, if I'm a custodial worker, yes, I'm cleaning this, cleaning that. But my primary purpose is to rest in that isness, is to bring that light of oneness into whatever I'm doing. You mentioned stay-at-home moms, and I think about my grandmother. Growing up, she took care of all the kids. And even now, she's 98 years old, and she's got her great granddaughter, my new daughter, in her arms, feeding her with her one functional arm. And it's just the light of her primary purpose just shines so bright in those moments. And it doesn't have to be your name in lights. It doesn't have to be your multi-trillion-dollar business. It's right where we are, right what we're doing.
And the challenge when people don't see that, Chad, is that means that's somewhere where God isn't expressing.
See,
so where all those places where someone doesn't see value in their life, they don't see value in the work that they're doing. It can be abused. It can be corrupted. It could be a less than ideal service. All of these places require us, in order for them to be optimized, for us to bring consciousness, for us to bring in awareness. And that awareness is not just ego awareness of like identity. And it's not just the role that I'm in. There is an opportunity in every moment for God to meet God, that namaste energetic flow.
Yes.
I mean, just imagine if you had a restaurant. There's a wonderful restaurant in Los Angeles, Cafe Gratitude, and their menus, all of the menu items are written in affirmations. And so that you'll order, what's one of your orders at Cafe Gratitude?
I am magnificent. That's
right? So
my
that's
joy.
the order. And you'll say, I'll have, I am magnificent.
Yes.
And the waiter or waitress will reply to you, you are magnificent.
That's right.
Like, this is a business model that actually exists, of course, in Los Angeles, but it's a business model that exists.
They're Agape family, though. You know that, Jason. They're Agape family.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so it's connected. And so when we see that, when you just imagine somebody could completely redefine the experience of being in the grocery store line. Because I know that I saw a video the other day, because there's all kinds of videos online. And it was a brother, he was just saying, he was at McDonald's. Don't be mad, Skip. But
no judgments here, brother.
McDonald's. Skip doesn't do judgment. He was going through McDonald's, and he pulls up his phone. He's like, you've got to hear this lady. And he pulls up to the McDonald's window, and the cashier's like, hey, welcome to McDonald's. So glad you're here. How are you doing? Can I take your order? I want 2 cheeseburgers. Oh, baby, that's 2 cheeseburgers. That's so wonderful. Is there anything else I can get for you? Would you like a drink with that? Oh, that's gonna be scrumptious. Would you like she's just loving for no reason, or for the ultimate reason, to be a beacon in a place where people aren't expecting to see light or to get hit with love. Yeah. And we can do that everywhere. We just have to help people see that they can be it everywhere.
Part of this journey is seriously, I always say, we wake up, we fall asleep, we wake up, we fall asleep, we stay awake a little bit longer. We might fall asleep a little bit less, but we keep waking up, we keep waking up, we keep waking up. One of the things I really realized, and this is from studying as well, and I think I heard this in one of the classes, when patience is not just being patient to get through something. Patience is realizing that you're right where you need to be. So are you willing to share the light right where you need to be? And when I heard that, I realized that sometimes you have those long lines in the grocery store. My patience is not, I wish they would hurry up. The patience is, oh, I'm here to share the light. I'm here to give a smile. I'm here to say a kind word. I'm here to share agape love. So patience is one of those things that we realize that we're right where we need to be. One of the things that, Jason, I want you to talk about is understanding that we talk about purpose, but also understanding this thing we call the calling. You and I are called to be ministers, and Chad is a preacher. He just doesn't have a license as a preacher, but he's an actor, and he is a gifted voiceover person. The calling, and I love this idea that we've all been called, but only few will answer the call. So can you speak a little bit about the calling? Because this calling I've been hearing since day one when I was growing up. My grandmother put a blessing upon me when I was 3 years old. And she said to my mama, that boy's so bad, he's going to grow up to be a preacher. And my mother told that story so long, and look where I am right now. Okay. But I felt the call upon my life early on at age of 3. So what is this calling that we are always talking about, Rev?
The book, The Call, I think I probably have it sitting over there.
Yeah, mine's somewhere in the box down there.
Right. Does a really good job of articulating an idea of being called into existence. The first thing that I want someone to understand about a call is that you have one because you exist. You do not have to qualify for it. There may be work to do on the journey for some other things, but the first aspect is to recognize that because I exist, I have a call, and that there are no big calls. There are no small calls. There's no size in God. There's only the existence, the isness. So then as we start looking at this human journey, we look at the things that we've been gifted. Do you have a gift for speaking? Do you have a gift for creativity? Do you have a gift of helping other people discover their gifts and to manage their gifts or develop their gifts or to share their gifts? There is in each and every one of us some unique aspect. Do you have, there are some people that just have the patience of Job. That's not what Skip and I were talking about earlier. Right? Reverend Skip and I we know, start praying under my breath.
And that Job patience is something else. If you got the patience of Job, that means you can get through anything.
Yeah, absolutely. It basically, the idea there is that I'm not triggered by the journey.
Yes.
That the journey is just continually reminding me of a strength, of a resilience, of a power, of a force that I have. And so as we talk more about the idea of call, one has to be listening. The other aspect of the call is to be in continual listening, because sometimes things come to an end. And I have recognized that sometimes I've gotten comfortable, I've gotten complacent in my journey, in my spiritual practices, and I haven't continued to expand and explore. And the universe, God's spirit, has kind of come and come on,
hello,
time to move. And sometimes it's not quite that pleasant, because there are expiration dates for some things, because somebody else might need to move into that place that you occupied for so long, because something else might need to grow where you were growing for so long, or maybe you've only been the person who was preparing the people. You were the one preparing the people for somebody else who was coming in. And I think in a lot of relationships, people have witnessed that, but they don't know that they've witnessed that because it's frustrating. The frustrating thing is how you've been with somebody, you've been in a relationship with them, you've gone through the trials and tribulations. You guys have fought and grabbed and scrapped with each other, and then you guys break up. There's nothing wrong with that relationship coming to an end. But some of us get really frustrated because we see that former partner go off and become a great partner for somebody else. Now we're holding our attention into the wrong place because we also have been shaped and formed. So we are also eligible to become a great partner for somebody else.
Yes.
But we're too busy looking back and unhappy that somebody else has become a great partner. This happens in corporations and businesses. It happens in sports all the time.
Yes.
Coaches pulled out and moved. And it's the awareness. It's the consciousness. It's the energy that you approach the thing with as things come to an end. So as you look at your call, it's essential that you look at the different aspects of where you actually are, where you are being, where you have shown up, and to see, are you meant to be a teacher? Are you meant to be a lawyer? Are you meant to be a philosopher? Are you meant to be designing landscapes? Are you meant to be designing new sports arenas? But whatever you're doing is light, joy, love, peace, harmony, creativity, abundance, power flowing through you.
It's that livelihood we always talk about, the livelihood. And it's that thing that you know that you're going to do the rest of your life and you don't really have to be paid for it. We see a lot of that here in LA quite a bit. People say, yeah, I'm an actor. Okay, so what do you do? What do you really do? No, I'm an actor. Oh, I know. Yeah, I wait tables, but no, there's nothing wrong with waiting tables. There's nothing wrong with that. And I love the fact that we must speak it into existence. Because I was saying I was a minister before I got the license. I spoke that baby in existence. I'm an actor, and I might not be on a gig right now, but I am an actor. Chad, you know about that, right? With your lifetime, with your lifetime movie coming out. With your lifetime movie coming out, Chad.
Yes. No, but it's so true, and I love what you were saying about the people that come in and out of our lives, and I've found that. And I wonder what you think about this, but in hindsight, we can kind of see it. But that those people are many times our greatest teachers. These people that we're in conflict with, they are the Christ showing up in in this kind of projection that we're having. And that if we can see that within them, it's hard in the moment sometimes, but in hindsight, we can embrace those people as our greatest teachers.
Absolutely. And like the most immediate place where I remember walking that was America under the Trump administration.
Ooh, wait a minute. Say that again.
One of the laboratories even that this experiment was taking place was America, the world, but under the Trump administration, because I watched loving, well-meaning ministers, practitioners, people of faith be completely thrown by how one individual was doing their profession, because that was his job. His job was it. And people disagreed with how he did his job, how he showed up in his world. And they let him and how he was doing his thing, pull them out of their loving. They let him and how he was showing up in the world pull them into separation and otherness, into like childish name calling. Like, come on. The activation was so strong, so necessary and taking place that it catapulted us for those who had fallen asleep under the previous administration. This isn't even about politics, whether you're a Democrat, Libertarian, Republican. It was just about the energy of how people were flowing and showing up in the world. And when you look at how they went from under the Obama administration to under the Trump administration to now under the Biden administration, you could see people fall asleep a little bit under Biden's administration and not be that active. Then you could see the activism of citizens be powerfully activated under the Trump administration. You could see all of these people being catalysts for us to open up to see the limits that we had placed on love, on joy, on peace, on what is possible, and for all the death sentences people were writing because they thought that somebody was going to destroy the world. We're still here.
We are still here, and that is a very powerful message and lesson to learn. I remember again, we're talking about spiritual study. I have to come back to spiritual studies again, that I remember when we can say thank you to that teacher that's teaching us the hard lessons, then we know we're truly growing. And one of
Yes.
the things I got to do, and I actually left the Democratic Party this year. I'm independent. Actually, it was the end of last year, or the beginning of this year, and I decided that I would not be a part of a partisan, breakdown, because I want to be able to have that conversation with those who don't agree with me, those who don't do that. And I felt being a part of and I do vote, but being a part of a party was in the complete opposition of where we want to be as new thought ministers, and where we want to be as spiritually minded people. And I'm not telling anyone to leave their party. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, for me, it freed me up this idea that I have to vote down party lines, even when I don't agree with certain things. I'm not being a critical thinker. So that freed me up. You brought up the politics, brother. So I gotta ask you, what is the biggest lesson that you learned through this pandemic and this Trump administration?
The clear idea that nobody is infallible, that there is work for everyone to do, regardless of what your ideology is. I'm not here to say that all of them, their policies are equal, because there are things that I just judge as immoral. The idea of putting babies and children in cages and separating from their parents is just wrong. There are kids now who have been adopted into families and may never see their parents again, not because their parents didn't want them, but because the United States government made decisions to take children away. And then that woke me up to know that had been happening in the Dakotas on the Native American reservations for a long time.
Preach,
And so
preacher.
there's just so much stuff that the past political atmosphere helped me to bring to my attention to things that I didn't know about. And it's one of the reasons why I love social media now and the gift that it brings to the world. It has brought so many people's stories to the world that executives in newsrooms and magazines were not interested in that human story, or didn't think that it was going to get ratings. And I'm so glad that stories about life are being told, even when people don't think they're going to get good ratings.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Rev, you have been doing your yes moment all the way through anyway. And the yes moment, we always say, is you expressing spirit. And I'm going to call you out. I'm going to ask you to do a prayer for our community here on Facebook, and on because this will drop on Instagram as well, and it will be dropped into a podcast. I just love how you pray. And brother, would you say a prayer for us in your yes moment?
Absolutely. And so this is going to be something that we can hold. This is going to be a universal prayer that we can step into anytime we need. So I'm going to invite us all to turn within. And in turning within, we close the outer eye if we can. And we certainly can become present with the breath. Anchoring ourselves in this moment of eternity, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be in this community, to be with everyone who is under the sound of my voice. I'm grateful for life and all of its infinite expressions, and the platform that is in the flow, and how it has brought us together right here, right now. I'm knowing that the living intelligence, God Almighty, God all beauty, God all goodness, source intelligence, creator of creation, is one. That I am one with it, that we are one with it, that you who are listening to this, you are one with this. This is one thing that is happening everywhere. This is a non-separated environment. No, this is union. This is unity. This is wholeness. And it is from this place that I speak a blessing of life, of joy, of peace, of love, of harmony. I'm speaking a word right now, yet everything that you encounter is supporting and serving your highest good. I'm knowing it does so for all of us. I'm knowing that every situation or circumstance is seed that you have the ability to grow, that we have the ability to grow right here, right now. I'm knowing that there is no moment that is wasted. I'm knowing no place where we have been abandoned by this living intelligence. So I'm embracing in this moment a great experience of love, of joy, of peace, of harmony, of clarity, wisdom, in every aspect of our life, in all of our relationships, in our livelihood, in our financial sector, in our health, our mind, body, and spirit, that anything that we need to know, we know it now. And everything that we need to let go of simply falls away, because we only hold what is ours. I'm thankful for this and so much more. I let it be.
Hmm.
And so it is.
So it
Amen.
is.
So it is.
Amen. Amen. Woo. Did you get that, Chad? Did you get that prayer all up in you?
Yeah. Yes. From head to toe.
Head to toe, yo. We just been baptized.
Yes.
Hallelujah. Hey, Rev Jason, thank you so much for joining us on In the Flow here, the New Thought Media Network. This is also a CSL ministry, and it's so powerful to have your presence on this ministerial platform as well. So we're grateful. Where can people find you? And I am someone who drops into our daily prayer call whenever I can, when I'm not doing something else and you come up, but I drop in. It is so amazing the work you're doing. Where can people find you?
I'm easy to find just under my name. If you Google Jason Daveon Mitchell, you'll find me. That's how I'm listed on Facebook. On Instagram, you can do the same search. You'll find me, but it's Conscious Lens. That's the word conscious, Lens. You can find me there. I have a new program that's beginning tomorrow. It's called the MVP program, our most valuable practices, meditation, visioning, and prayer. I'm going to be taking people through 90-minute sessions, 2 weeks each month, October, November, December, where we're going to anchor in an expanded way as we prepare now for 2022. So we're getting everybody ready for that. So you can find that information on any of those platforms.
Y'all get it. Get in there. Yeah, thank you, brother. We're definitely going to follow you, and whatever you post something, I like to repost it so people can get it, because this is a shared experience here. And
Absolutely.
thank you for your support.
Skip. You've been an amazing support for me.
Thank you, brother. Brother Chad, where are you this week, and what's happening with Macbeth? And do you have any black people in Macbeth? You have any black people up in Arkansas doing Macbeth with you? You know me. I want to see some black people doing some Shakespeare up in with you, brother.
You know it. Okay. I will say one of the great things that, coming out of 2020 is that many of the people of color I reached out to said, sorry, I'm booked. I am booked for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, great. So, but that does mean that we've got opportunities for a lot more people. So, we've got a very, very diverse cast, of course. Good. We open up on October 29th. And we can start to put things in the show notes where if you are in the Central Arkansas area, you can come and check us out.
We'll be dropping that next week. Definitely. We'll have a little segment about that as well. And Chad, what is your website and where can people find you?
You can get me at chad-bradford.com and then voicesuncaged.org, my program working with theater arts inside correctional facilities.
Thank you so much for that work.
Yes.
And everyone, you can follow me at Rev Skip Jennings on all the social medias. Go to my website, skipjennings.com. You can take me home, not cook me breakfast, just buy a book, get a t-shirt, get one of these fly flow hoodies that Chad and I are wearing. Brother, I gotta get you, Reverend Jason. I know.
Feeling some kind of way.
because even Diego had his on.
He always has t-shirt. And now I was like, all right, I'll put on my t-shirt. Oh, and then I'm like, I don't have none of them.
Oh, man. Dude,
I'm merciless.
Okay, I'm going to say it online. You will have some merch before I leave town. I guarantee you. I'm going to send you something because I love you.
Get a hug before you leave anyway.
It sounds good. So y'all just go to the awakeshop.org and you can find out about t-shirts and hoodies, and 10% goes to making a difference on the planet for people who are in companies that are out there that are really making a difference. So we support that, and we tithe 10% because we believe in tithing here. Also, if you want to support the New Thought Media Network, go to ntmedia.org/donate. And give to this ministry that's out making a difference. And if you want to give a little something to Rev Skip, especially on the journey of moving, y'all can donate to me as well. You can find me on Venmo and on PayPal. PayPal is skip@skipjennings.com. But if you go to Venmo, I now have my business account set up. You go to Rev Skip Jennings on Venmo, and that is a donation base where you can give to the what do we call it? The movement. We give it to the movement,
Yes.
So
That's it.
That's it. Hey, Rev Jason, thank you so much once again for being a part of this journey.
Absolutely.
It's been so
You honor me for letting me
amazing.
in here.
You're so welcome. Hey,
Yes.
Chad, I love you, brother. I love you so much.
Love you, friend.
Diego, thank you so much for doing what you do. And everyone, remember, Diego, remember, transformation is a choice, and you can choose today. Till next week, peace and blessings, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of In the Flow. If you enjoyed this programming, please help us spread this joy. Be sure and give this video a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. New Thought Media Network can be found on Facebook or our YouTube channel. Additional contributions are greatly appreciated at ntmedia.org/donate or find Rev Skip on PayPal